Okay. So this one, I'll just read it. This is from a woman named Janie Valencia,
Okay.
and she is, I don't know, she works at the card bureau who makes cards, and I guess that's a small business that PaperSource fucked over. So anyway, let's
Okay.
read this. If you're just tuning in, at PaperSource declared bankruptcy this week. But before they did that, they put in lots of large orders with over 250 small independent companies, knowing they wouldn't have to pay for the inventory after the fact. Uh, After a very difficult year, wholesalers like myself thought retail was finally getting its second wind, and we all eagerly accepted PS's PaperSource's orders ranging from 5,000 to as much as 60,000, and worked overtime to get them out fast by their expedited deadlines. For my business, PaperSource ordered more in a 60-day period than they did in all of 2020. And this is true for many others in the industry. Again, they did this to cook their books at our expense. Why order product they can't pay for? Because they're using all of our inventory as liquidation income and assets to look better to venture capital firms they're trying to sell to. They made poor business decisions, but small businesses will suffer while they get a buyout. So essentially, PaperSource is going to be bought by some other giant
Mm-hmm.
conglomerate, most
Okay.
likely,
Yeah.
because it's an existing entity and well known. Um, but the fact that they filed for bankruptcy means they don't have to pay a lot of their bills. Uh, it's like an advantage of insolvency. All right, so why order product they can't? Oh, I already said that. What PaperSource is doing is to small stationery companies is fraud, yet it's all perfectly legal. They are too big to fail. Terms
Mm.
of bankruptcy say we might get paid on orders placed 20 days prior. Small businesses will be in the last in line after everyone else they owe money to. It could take years for payouts to be made, and in the end, we may not see a penny. For orders older than 20 days, their bankruptcy terms don't outline any recourse, meaning that there's no possibility of seeing any of those payments.
Jeez.
Meanwhile, and it was a 60-day period, not 20 days. Meanwhile, PaperSource has informed us that they intend to keep placing orders and expect us to deliver on them post bankruptcy and that we will get paid for new orders on net 60 terms. I don't know exactly what net 60 terms means.
Like
Uh,
60 days within 60 days.
sure. I was initially hesitant to criticize PaperSource for what they've done because they're a big buyer. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Now we're in the position to keep selling to them even though they've burned us in hopes that we can make up some of that money. But this all feels so unjust. It's despicable. As a small business, I would never be able to get away with what they're doing. I would not be able to simply declare bankruptcy and have all my problems go away. Many of these small stationery companies are family run and rely on this money for their livelihoods. They've also made business decisions with the expectations that this money would be coming in. PaperSource walks away and we all foot the bill. It's the classic American story. Also, an important note, Ian Spencer says, this is not a beleaguered boutique retailer declaring bankruptcy. PaperSource is fully owned and operated by Bahrainian Goliath Invest Corp. They are effectively stealing tens of thousands of dollars from hundreds of individual small businesses. Okay, so InvestCorp's CEO boasted about winning a private equity firm of the year award the same day his company PaperSource declared bankruptcy and effectively sold $15,000 in product from my small company. This is their CEO here.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, InvestCorp. And then anyone know somebody in AG Mark Herring's, the Attorney General's office, that can look into this? They filed for bankruptcy in Virginia.
Mm.
Anyway, so like, I just thought that was an interesting thing to talk about because, like, because you shop at PaperSource, you know about PaperSource.
I know. Like, hearing this, I'm like, ugh, jeez. Because, like, I do shop at Paper Source. We have a Paper Source, like, a very close to our apartment.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh, to me, it's always been so like nice to go there, and I'm like, oh, look at all these like cute crafty things and just like fun gifts they have there. And like I've liked going there and feeling like I'm supporting I realize that PaperSource is like a huge corporation, but like at least like the people that they buy things from. But now hearing that they've done this, I'm like, ugh, okay. Like now I'm like, should I not shop there anymore? Because and I don't know the answer to that. I'm like, maybe not. But then also that's hurting the like small businesses that they buy from also, but who knows if they're gonna get any money anyway for their products that they're selling.
Well,
at PaperSource.
I want to know what the outcome is. Like, PaperSource obviously is not going to pay a bunch of the money. I think it's ridiculous that they're trying to extract more contracts or more like I would just say no. Like, this would happen. Let's say you had a client who was always buying stuff from you, and you found out that like they haven't paid you for the last 3 times that they bought stuff.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, like you don't have goodwill anymore. Like your credit here isn't good anymore necessarily. Yeah. We're just gonna not sell you the thing.
Yeah, unless you pay us.
But I guess just the fact that they're a huge company, it's impossible to say no to them. I don't know.
Yeah, because they...
And also, like, shouldn't they be paying up front? Like, I don't know. Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly, but, like, when they were talking about, like, net 60, then they would pay that many days, like, later for the products. But I'm curious. So if they put these orders in with these companies, have the small businesses, like, already shipped their products out? And, like, they're just out of that now? Or, do they have to say yes to PaperSource? Well, especially like knowing that they might not get paid.
I mean, I think now, right? Like when they were shipping all their stuff out, like at the beginning of the thread when she was talking about like, okay, this is like obvious fraud because they're buying extra stuff that they like never had bought.
Yeah.
They're buying way too much stuff.
Yeah.
And like there was no expectation by anyone that they were gonna go bankrupt during this point. So like they were fulfilling these orders like being like, oh, they promised me they're gonna pay me basically.
And because in the thread it was talking about how like it has been a hard year for retail, but like now maybe things are ramping up, and so I could see that like these small businesses getting these larger orders and being like, cool, retail is doing better, awesome for all of us.
Yeah.
Not knowing any
exactly.
of this.
And it's just literally like stealing.
It is, yeah. And like what?
Like these people are out there labor. They're out there like if they made employees like work overtime to like finish these orders and like those they probably had to pay employees more just for that. Like this has to feel infuriating.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure.
And so there's probably got to be a way to, like, people in the comments I think are saying, like, well, you know, people should is there a way to just buy from you directly? But, like, the whole point of a thing like PaperSource is so that they can source things from a lot of different places and pay those small owners, those small businesses.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's true.
They're just like shitting on their own business model. And also, I think strategic bankruptcy is just like one of those disgusting parts of capitalism. And like, you can just make the biggest mistake and then say whatever, I'm like exempt.
Yeah, it like the shitty part about it. I don't know if I can say that on our podcast, but the bad thing about it is that it's all completely legal to do. Yeah. Like it's like if you declare bankruptcy, you're just like you get out of a lot of things that you wouldn't have been able to get out of before like this. And then Yeah, just seeing this company or corporation knowing that and doing this like very unethical thing that's screwing over so many people, so many small businesses. Like how could somebody do that and feel okay with it? I
I mean, I think I don't know, I would say like the where the decisions are being made, there's probably not a whole lot of um, compassion
mhm.
or care, or
Yeah, it's just about
it's
profits
like,
and
how can we look good in our
yeah.
position because
Yeah.
our company is going down and we know
Mhm.
we need to sell to someone.
Yep.
Let's get a bunch of inventory
Yep.
that we can liquidate and make our sale look better, because some other company, some other
Yeah.
uh like Amazon might end up buying Paper Source, or it might be like something like that, you know.
Sure.
It could be a
Yeah.
cell phone company, Verizon owns Paper, you know, it could be just some stupid thing.
Yeah. And so I know like Paper Source is doing what they need to do, what they feel like they need to do to make them like look better, like you're saying, for these investors or whoever's going to buy them. But man, like the fact that that's like legal and like
It's just, yeah, it's disgusting.
it is.
And then it makes you wonder, like, how many times has this happened to people where we don't read it, like somebody doesn't post a
Yeah.
thread,
Yeah, for
somebody
sure.
doesn't say like, oh, this happened to me, because it's probably
Yep.
just like business as usual in a lot of
Mhm.
situations. There's probably like the same thing happening.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yep.
just thought that was interesting. I don't like, I feel like maybe whoever buys the company can pay those back contracts,
I
but it's going
hope
to be too
so.
late probably,
I
like.
mean, like I hope that all these people will get paid eventually, but still like there's all those upfront costs that the company like small businesses are just having to foot, and like you were saying earlier, cost of like labor and like potential overtime for like fulfilling these
Yeah, like
orders.
this could be putting these businesses out of
Mhm.
business, these
Yeah,
little ones
it
doing
could.
this stuff. And I bet some of them are going out of business because of it.
Yeah.
Cuz like, yeah, you're going to prioritize the huge contract or the huge order from the big company.
Mhm.
And then when that like, you're going to say no to other orders for this order.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when that one falls through, now you're completely screwed.
Yep.
Um, so I could see that happening. Uh, Just something to be aware of, I guess, with selling to large companies. But
I
I don't
guess
know what
so.
else you can do about it. Like, you're gonna get burned once in a while.
Yeah.
Um, cool.